Hi, travelers. Tara here. I haven't had a reading out for quite a while, so we're going to do a short open reading today. And what I wanted to share with you guys, the reason why you have not heard from me, is because I have been doing a lot of, um, well, basically some self-care. I just think that um, the times that we are in at the particular moment are very I'm trying to think of the right word to use because I don't it's for me it's not a negative energy. It's simply an energy of uncertainty. I think that's pretty much where I'm coming from. And what I mean by that is I think everybody is uncertain in terms of what's to come next. um, Hopefully you've been able to, if you're having to stay at home, you're having to work from home. We're spending a lot of time with our family, or if you don't have family, you may be spending a lot of time alone. So I'm hoping that you're able to use this particular time to reconnect with yourself, and to do some self-care things. uh, I was just watched something on the news. I think it was on BBC this morning. People have been reporting having very, very lucid and vivid dreams around this time. And they were saying that they thought that the majority of it was because most people are sleep deprived. And so now you don't have to wake up to the alarm and get up and do things. So your body is actually readjusting to its normal schedule. But that because of all of the circumstances under which we find ourselves, um, people are having these weird dreams. They report dreams of, bugs coming at them. Or one lady said she dreamt that she kept logging into the wrong Zoom meeting over and over and over again. For me, I will honestly say the dream that I've been having, which is a recurring dream, is that I go to the grocery store, and strange people walk up to me and rip my mask off and kiss me on the cheek, and I'm like, coronavirus. So, so people are working things out, psychologically. Usually through your dreams, it's coming out that way. But just weird dreams. I've been having that dream I had that dream for like a week straight, and I was telling my neighbor, I was like, what the hell? So, yeah, so everybody's doing things, but I wanted to let you know, website members, first of all, that I am working on the May relationship readings. And as a matter of fact, I have 3 left to complete, I think. Yeah, and they'll be posted later today. And then I will start working on the individual readings for May. I have a couple of articles coming out too, slowly but surely. I'm almost done with my astrology course that I've been taking myself. And I want to try to bring you guys horoscopes. I want to write horoscopes. So this was the Sun Sign Astrology course with Jessica Adams, who is absolutely one of my, if not my most favorite astrologer. She is like, I got such a girl crush on her. And so I took a course with Penny Thornton. Uh, Let me see, what else have I been doing? I mean, I just been doing a lot of stuff. And so I just decided that this is the time that I would take to kind of do that because everything's slowing down. And I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to do daily, weekly, monthly. I don't know. That's a lot of work in addition to everything else that I'm doing. I had a slew of Akashic Records readings come in. And like I said, when I do those, I don't advertise those. And so I will go months without doing one. And then all of a sudden I'll get like 5 or 6 of them in a row. And so it's really kind of interesting how that works. Um, let's see, what else have I been doing? Oh yeah, I have been spending a lot of time in my yard. Now, trying to beautify some things. It looks beautiful out back. The front looks great. Yesterday, my daughter and we had a freak kind of windstorm come up out of nowhere, and it blew down my back fence. So my daughter and I got out yesterday and we put our fence back up, which was interesting. Yay for power tools. And I love power tools. I got a whole garage full of them. It's a shame. Really, that's my hardware store is my jam. That's where I spend all my money. And so I'm waiting on my raised bed garden kit to show up, because I'm going to be planting a garden. And I don't know if you guys remember me telling you, I don't know if it was end of 2018 or 2019. I said, look, winter's coming. And what I meant by that was that we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. Those two planets were near each other for quite a while. Saturn, I think, just moved into Aquarius, and so that kind of lightens the energy a little bit. But now Jupiter and Pluto are together. And what you see when Capricorn, if you think back to, well, actually, the interesting thing, I think, particularly for America, is that America is coming up, she's having her Pluto return. And it takes Pluto 248 years to make a complete circle around the sun. And so this is really, our country is changed. Things will not go back to being the same. And so I remember telling, I don't know if I told you guys, but I remember telling my friend Skinny B a while back, you know what, food's going to become scarce. And so that was my whole thing for trying to get my house by the end of 2019, a place with a yard so that I could put myself a garden so that I could grow some of my own food. So you can see through the cycle of the pandemic, you know, farmers are having to throw away crap because they can't get it to market. The meat packers are ill and they're not going back to work. So now, food's going to become scarce. It won't be something like where we won't be able to find anything at all. But your eating habits are going to have to change because you're not going to be able to get the things that you want. And so it's really going to come down to people being self-sufficient. And even if you live in an apartment, if you got a little window where some sun comes in, you can grow your own vegetables in pots. My whole thing is there's more than one way to skin a cat. So, pick out your favorite vegetables. If it's lettuce, if it's tomatoes, grow them in a pot on your balcony, or get yourself a little sun window and grow you something there. And so I remember telling her that. And so it's just interesting to watch all of these things come to pass, and you can see it through the astrology. And that's why I want to bring you guys that astrology. So the last thing is I'm working on my second basic astrology webinar for you guys. I don't know exactly when I'm going to have everything together, but in the second half, we're going to be looking at the wheel itself. How do you place the planets in there, what the signs do, and so that you yourself can kind of get a basic understanding when I'm writing articles or I'm telling you things, that you can understand exactly what I mean, for the most part anyway. So with that being said, I'm going to shut this off, turn the camera around, and set up everything, and then we'll get to the open reading. I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is mentally well and emotionally well. I know this can be a very difficult time for people who are more social. I don't want to say an isolationist. I'm a loner. I am so used to being alone by myself. So this energy is not anything unusual to me. I guess if I had to impart any words perhaps of comfort to you, would be this. Everybody in the world is experiencing the same thing at the same time. We're all in this together, literally, simultaneously, at the same time. There is no country, no nation, no continent on earth that is not experiencing this same thing. And so for some of our fellow human beings, their predicaments may be a bit more dire than others. But what I have noticed is the kindness of people to each other, helping your neighbors, helping those who may be less fortunate than you. My neighbor across the street, she's almost like one of my soulmates. She's elderly, so I do a lot of shopping for her. I go over and I check on her every day. We hang out and we talk. She's one of the loveliest, funniest people that I know, and I just kind of fell in with her. She's great. And so I think regardless of the hardships that we are experiencing in our own personal way, it is really the beauty of people coming together. So we are really more together than we are divided. And so don't believe the hype that we're all divided and it's partisan. We're not. This is really, and that's the thing, what's coming up next is the Aquarian energy. Aquarius is the energy of brotherhood and sisterhood. Uh, which says that you and I are in this together, and what affects me affects you. And so this is going to be a really, really, we're going to have a great grand conjunction coming up. The last one was 800 years ago, where we're going to have Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius, and then eventually Pluto's going to move in. So this is really, I want you guys to mark my words. We are stepping into a whole new world. Everybody on Earth, particularly in America. We are stepping into a whole new world. And you, if you are alive and you are in the sound of my voice, you are about to witness not just history, but a great humanitarian movement, one that affects all humankind, all life on earth. Okay? So mark my words. You heard me tell you this. Um, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows and lollipops and unicorns, because it won't be. But it's a brave new world. It is a brand new way of life that is coming upon us. And I, for one, am very excited to see the changes. So now let me stop and we'll get started with the reading, and then I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Okay. Alrighty then, let's get started with this reading. We're going to be using, just for the sake of expediency, we're going to be using the Radiant White deck. We're going to be clarifying. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the Las Avitas, the Sibilas, I can't even talk, or if I'm going to use the playing cards. But at the end of the reading, we're going to wrap it up with my favorite boy, Nostradamus. So let's get started. Let's get started. I'm going to put, this will be the last one. So I hope really that everyone is doing as well as can possibly be. Oh, and I want to say thanks to Pete B. He just emailed me. And he had some really lovely words to say to me. And I really needed to hear that. So thank you, Pete B. Really, that just made my whole day. So here we go. Page of Wands. I don't know if you guys can see that. I might have to close my curtains. Let me get the rest of the cards down. Five of Swords. The reverse Nine of Swords. Ah, those vivid pandemic dreams. What? The reverse Two of Cups. Oh, look at this. The sun has come out. The Eight of Coins. And it's right in the center of the sun. This is what's so lovely. And it's the energy coming off the card is radiating out. Okay. The reversed Seven of Wands. I don't know if some of you got a message about maybe an illness. I'm not necessarily speaking about the coronavirus. And maybe it's not really an illness, but you haven't been sleeping well. Something's been worrying you, and it's completely thrown the balance of who you are off. Right? It's almost as if all of those things have gotten the better of you. See? Whatever that news is up there. So let's take a look. the reverse Six of Pentacles, that's interesting, and I'll tell you what I mean. And there's the reverse Queen of Cups. Let's see. I have a 2, a 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 9. What's under the deck? The Moon. That would explain this energy to me. Well, if this is a situation in which you have, like I was saying, not been taking care of yourself, you've not been doing the things that you need to do for self-care, you should. Some of you are extremely worried and upset about something. Here it could be a financial situation. We see the guy's actually making money. But that's also the card of the Apprentice, right? That's about just the repetition of doing something over and over and over again until you perfect it. And I get the sense that perhaps for some of you, you feel as though you're just spinning your wheels. With the Sun being in the center, it is the most positive card in this deck. And it kind of negates out all of this negative energy. So what I like to say about the Sun is, even though it represents growth, abundance, positivity, the summer, warmth, heat, abundance, I don't know if I said that. To me, in the tarot deck, what the Sun does, its main purpose is to illuminate things for you, right? We don't see as clearly in the dark by the light of the full moon as we do in the day by the light of the sun, right? And so, like I said, the energy of this card is radiating out over the whole spread. And I don't know if this is the idea that maybe some of you are so caught up in whatever is happening for you now that you don't see what you need to see. And sometimes we simply need to have clarity to see things for what they are, to see a situation for what it is, to see a person for who they are, even to see ourselves for who we are and where we are at the moment, to change our perspective. And sometimes changing your perspective and the way that you think about something is really all you need to turn everything around. I hope that makes sense. I always try to be careful that I don't always sound too happy, because I tell people, people always tell me, you're always so positive, you know. Yeah, because I'm always sure that things are going to work out okay. It may not happen the way that I think it is. I may not even get what it is that I want, but, you know, it always works out okay. Okay. And so that's kind of the way I go through life. It makes some people sick. My daughter's like, nobody's as happy and positive as you. That's just who I am. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to take a look to see, is my device on? Yay. And it's charged. The first thing I want to do is take a look to see, and if you'll notice, there's only one major arcana card in this deck, and it's the Sun, upright. I have 2 wands, 2 cups, 2 coins, and 2 swords. So that idea of 2 here is a partnership, a marriage, an engagement. the blending of things, but it also speaks to being at a crossroads. It is a choice, it is a decision, it is something maybe that you've been waffling on and you're not exactly sure what it is you should be doing or if you should be doing anything at all. And you know what? It's okay not to know what the hell's going on sometimes. It really is. Because sometimes you have to sit with the fear and the uncertainty. Okay, just sit with it. Don't allow it to freak you out, because eventually you're going to come around to whatever it is you need to know, and then you can make your decision, right? Or your choice. So let me see what I've got going on here. And the first thing I want to do is to see if I can find out anything about these what do you call it? Pip cards here at the center surrounding the sun card. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this card is telling me about May this month, and this is what the reading is for. Well, not for, but we're coming up on that. So this could also be our timing issue here. I'm not exactly sure. I think June is when we go to the summer solstice, but it's coming. Things are warming up. The birds are mating. Oh, you should see the lizards in my yard. They are so funny out there doing their mating dance. And they're funny. I'm going to look at this Five of Swords first, okay? To see if it can tell me anything being next to. Nothing about the Five of Swords. Let's take a look at this Nine of Swords here. And it is reversed. So this is really what is interesting to me. Let's see here. Nothing about the Nine of Swords. The Two of Cups, also, it is reversed. So we want to, but first we want to see, I want to see what this card is trying to tell me. That's the Ace. Now, next to the Sun, and this is the upright. If this card was upright, what it says is, it tells of a great love and shared understanding. Two people or a couple will enjoy many blessings together. It tells of a great love and a deep understanding that is shared and enjoyed. It also tells of many blessings to come. But what we see is that the card is reversed. And this may be why you're having to work extra hard or put in more effort. Or maybe you're the only person able to work in your household at this particular point in time. And that's a strain. Let's take a look at this Eight of Pentacles. In which case, you can only do what you can do, and you don't want to create any more, what do you call it, stress, undue stress for yourself, because it's really going to make you sick. All right? Your health is your wealth. Oh my God. Hold on. Who the hell is calling me? Oh, excuse me. I got to take this. Hello? Sorry about that. That was a very important call. Now, what was I... Oh, wait. Let me turn my phone back off. What was I saying? Here, hold on, let me turn my phone off, because my mom liked to call early in the morning, and so let me turn the volume off. I thought it was off already. Okay, and what was I looking at? Oh yeah, and I was discussing with you the idea that maybe you're the only person who's working, and it's really important that you need to take care of yourself, because you don't want to become sick, as like I said, your health is your wealth. So I don't see anything about this Eight of Pentacles. So now we're going to look at this reverse Seven of Wands. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't necessarily feel that there's really any really, really negative energy here. Okay? It's just like a blip. Nothing about the reverse set, about the Seven of Wands. Let me get down here to this Six of Pentacles, which is right here. And then I'm going to, of course, read to you the reverse meanings of these cards. Let me see what that says here. Nothing about that. And then, of course, we have this Queen of Cups. So, in effect, I have two court cards. And because this is an open reading, a general reading, I'm not going to necessarily say that this is a water sign female. What I'm going to say is, yes, it could be a water sign female. But at the same time, this could simply be about your emotions, okay? And here, along with the moon. The moon speaks to your intuition, but it also speaks to your fears. The wild side versus the domesticated side. It is all of those things that come up from the dark, from the depths, that we don't sometimes even understand. And we have to me, this is what this says. That pathway there, we still have to walk that path. We have to walk our way, inch our way, find our way through this dark time, this dark period, and we have to, quote unquote, face our fears. Now, this can be very difficult. It is always very difficult to kind of look inside yourself or to become your own, quote unquote, therapist. But I think the easiest way is really just to recognize what it is that you're feeling and what it is you're fearful of. And sometimes we can't put words to it, right? So you really have to just ask, what is this that I'm feeling and why am I feeling it? Help me to understand what this thing is. The pages always speak to me of messages and news. So I do sense that for some of you, you got some kind of news other than all of this other stuff that we're dealing with that has really created some kind of, I want to say, moment for you. Okay. So let me take a look for you. We know what the Five of Swords is. The Five of Swords, listen, this is always a card of victory. This could be standing up to those things and those people and those situations which require you to stand up for yourself in some kind of argument and or dispute. But sometimes this card can also be about two people battling it out, or you're battling it out with and nobody's winning because nobody wants to give. Nobody wants to compromise. Nobody wants to meet halfway in between. And I just get the sense that it's a choice. Some of you are waffling with some kind of choice. So let me take a look for you. I think if I had to look at two cards, it would be this card and this card that stand out the most to me. So let's take a look at this reverse Nine of Swords. Okay. Doubt, suspicion, imprisonment, fear, guilt, shame, hardships, being sorry, sort of like regrets, and confusion. It tells of a deep depression, which is intense and persistent. It also implies that there may be some cause to suspect unfairness and cruelty from or by others. Outside assistance may be required. It can indicate that you may be depressed because you're feeling guilty about something. This depression could affect your physical well-being, and you should try to seek help for your condition. It is a message to look to your own behavior. If you expel negativity towards others, you will receive the same energy in return. It tells you to be aware of your true intentions, as if they are of a negative nature, you will not move forward positively. It is indicating that good news is on the way and positive changes are about to take place. You are asked to be patient and rely on faith and trust. Good news is on its way, and you are asked not to attempt to rush things, nor to be too hasty at this time. Try to remain patient and optimistic, as blessings are on their way into your life. When making important decisions, the Nine of Swords reverse asks that you consider the consequences of your choices and actions and be sensible in your decisions. Now, if this is in regards to a health issue, It is an indication that medical assistance may be required at this time. Prevention is better than a cure. So if there are any niggling concerns, you are asked to seek assistance now. Remember, that's the first thing I said. It's some other kind of issue, not necessarily the coronavirus issue. Okay? I think this is a lot of stress. I think it's a lot of thoughts. It's a lot of maybe thinking about how you'd like to do things or how you'd like to change things, and having all of your desires thwarted, but yet you're still working. Makes sense? You're still working on it, but you don't seem to be getting anywhere. And, sometimes that's just the way it is. But it doesn't mean you should give up, right? So this reverse Two of Cups. Now, I have seen the Two of Cups show up when we're not necessarily speaking of a romantic relationship, but like a business partnership, okay? It says the upright words are harmony, affinity, passion, union, unity, sympathy, support, trust, deep friendship, a love affair, a marriage, a romance, a prosperous business partnership, a close friendship, commitment, engagement, bonding, understanding, and harmony between two souls. But that's not where we are at this moment. We are here. Arguments, distrust, disagreements, conflicts, betrayals, separation, broken promises. See? Broken promises, broken romance, the end of a relationship, disharmony, divorce, unfulfilling and dissatisfying relationships. Appearing reversed, it may be signifying an argument, disagreement, or conflict of some kind within a close relationship. It may also imply a mistrust and a sense of betrayal. It indicates that partnerships may falter because too much energy is being put into them, creating an intense and suffocating relationship. There may be a problem, and it suggests that there may be a problem, and one must focus on the highest truths of the relationship in order to work it out. It may indicate that a new perspective or concept is needed. It warns you that decisions regarding the long-term future of a relationship are best left for a time. Do not act in haste. It may be telling of challenges, obstacles, arguments, and disagreements within a relationship. It asks that you not be possessive, overbearing, or too demanding. Otherwise, this may damage the love within a relationship. Instead, consider all options and think things through to get a new and different perspective. Relationship-wise, it indicates that a loss of balance is happening within the relationship. This may be caused by one being either too possessive or too demanding upon others, or through a lack of mutual trust. It can indicate that the pairing off to the exclusion of all other people and situations is taking place, and this must be brought to the forefront. Now that's interesting. It says that unhealthy relationships that drain your energies need to be reassessed, and a new course of action may be needed. That's exactly what that's saying to me. Whatever this thing is, I think you're starting to see the light of the amount of work and time and effort that you're putting into it. But again, I just get the sense that you don't feel as though you're getting anywhere. And remember when I put this card down and I said, that's really interesting, and I'm going to explain that to you in a moment. The Seven of Wands reversed, and I will explain it to you if I can figure out what it is that I'm doing. Hold on. I say every time I do a reading for y'all, I'm like, I'm going to fix that. And I never do. Here we go. No, why do I keep jumping to the swords? Here we go, the wands. All right. I want to get to the 7. Reversed. All right, here we go. Perplexity, embarrassments, anxiety and confusion, failure and self-doubt. Appearing reversed, you are warned against being indecisive, as it can lead to an adversary taking advantage and gaining the upper hand. The message of this number of the number 7, reverse, is to not allow others to take advantage of you. Indecision and or procrastination will hinder you. Take note of the effects that the pressures in your life are having on your health and happiness, then change things accordingly. A challenge or test may prove to be too much or too difficult for you to undertake or pass at this time. This is most likely caused by your own self-doubt and lack of confidence. This is holding back the true expression of your ability that needs to be addressed. Once it is, you will be able to pass or progress with ease. It warns you to be aware of your own strengths and weaknesses and to take these into consideration when making important decisions and choices. It tells of being depleted of energy and feeling unstable or on shaky ground. Remember, that's exactly what I was saying to you. Reverse 6 of Pentacles. Unfairness in business, bad debt, dissatisfaction, greed, dirty deeds, insecurity, jealousy, envy, and non-recognition. Appearing reversed, this card may be telling you a situation regarding the distribution of money and or assets to do with an estate, business, venture, or inheritance issue. It tells of a feeling of your prosperity being threatened. It tells of a lack of recognition and an acknowledgement for hard work and effort, leading to feelings of personal inadequacy. It may be implying that you are experiencing some negativity, jealousy, and or envy from others, which may be unsettling for you. You are asked to accept that this is their problem and not yours. Do not allow their attitude to affect you. Carry on along your path unhindered. It implies a feeling of being taken for granted by another or others, and or a sense of not receiving warranted recognition. A situation may seem unfair or unjust, and relationship-wise, the reversed 6 of Pentacles may be indicating that one partner gives more than their fair share and the other takes more than is warranted. There is no balance in this relationship. It may be implying that your generosity will be taken advantage of, so beware of people who may look for their own gain. It may be implying that you may be jealous of someone's wealth or appearance of wealth, and you may live more extravagantly now than your means allow, finding you in financial difficulties. He may be telling you of unsatisfactory situations regarding money, business, property, and the like. It also infers that there are disappointments all around, and you may feel threatened or fearful within your financial sector. It could be implying that someone near you, or possibly even yourself, could be experiencing envy and or jealousy from others. It speaks of a feeling of insecurity, fearfulness, and being unsettled. It is an indication of emotional insecurity and unsettled feelings. There may also be a tendency towards selfishness and greed. It also tells reverse of unemployment, debts, and insecurity regarding money and finances and negative feelings and emotions. In other words, a defeatist attitude. On a health or well-being level, it is a message to take extra care at this time, as any hesitations may result in ill health or an acceleration or exacerbation of an existing ailment or issue. It indicates a time when one is resistant to self-examination and to learning about areas that require development. It also implies that one is in denial. That's exactly what I said. And so therefore, the sun has come out, okay, to illuminate your situation for you. Does that make any sense? Now, what I said was interesting about this when I put this card down. You see how right side up we have somebody giving these poor unfortunate people, well, one poor unfortunate person anyway, some funds. But now that poor unfortunate person is being asked to give that money back. Not maybe even asked, maybe has to. See what I'm saying? The money's now going from this hand back into this hand. And I think that can pretty much, with the scales being upside down, there is an injustice in this. Now, I don't know exactly what this means for anybody out there. This could be the idea about rent, food. I mean, just your basic necessities, right? Because right now, like I said, some people are in a better position than others. Um, excuse me. Some people are not. Some of you may be dealing with bosses who are asking you to come in against your own safety, health, and interest, not only you, but your family. Come back into work. Maybe some of you actually have to go back into work due to financial circumstances. And so you're on the fence about it. You know that you gotta live, you gotta eat. Maybe you're dealing with someone who's not being um a person in a position of power who's demanding, if you don't get the rent paid by this month, then, I'm going to evict you. Lots of people are in these situations. So that's why I say we are all we're all under the same influence. So even though maybe while some of us are in better positions than others, we can hopefully, if, there's empathy and you can understand what somebody may be going through, right? And so I just get the sense, I also get the sense that some of you got some news that you thought was going to be, maybe some of you are still waiting on the stimulus money thing, the coronavirus payment. Maybe you're trying to tap into your 401k or tap into your IRA. Maybe you're trying to sell some of your stock. I don't know. But either way it goes, you're not in a good place. And this is what this is telling me. And that under these conditions, if you are not clear-headed and decisive in making a decision about whatever this thing is, someone is going to take advantage of you in some way, shape, or form. Okay? So that's about the fear. What if I do? What if I don't? Damned if I do, damned if I don't. What do I do? And I get that. So first thing I want to look at, I really want to take a look at this Page of Wands to see what this news is. Maybe some of you are having a fight with your employers about something. Maybe it's terms and conditions in terms of, you want me to come back to work, you're going to have to provide me with masks or gloves or, I don't know. There's definitely a health and well-being component to this. That was the first thing I picked up on when I saw this card reversed. And that's not necessarily something that I always get from that. And the reason why that popped out is because the caduceus, the symbol of health and well-being, is reversed. So let's take a look first. Oh, well, look, that just fell out of the deck. But it fell out upside down. So unpleasant news for sure. The Doctore has shown up. And the reverse melancholia. So this is some kind of perhaps medical news, or if not medical news, then news that is associated surrounding this pandemic. Now, I know, like I said, we're all under the effects of the same influences. I'm going to next take a look at this Nine of Swords. I'm actually going to look at these two cards. I don't know if I'm going to look at them together or separately. I'm not sure yet. When I get there, I'll know. Lamante, male. Militare. Domestico, reverse. Oh, well, that's not good. And if this is not like necessarily medical news, the doctore is usually a very learned person, someone who has skill and knowledge in some specific area, right? And his main role is to help and assist. Usually he will give advice. He will, you know, look at the situation for you. He uses his expertise to grant you some kind of advice. Now, had he been reversed, I'd say that he's given you a misdiagnosis, but he's not reversed. He's not. Separately, the reverse limoneo, almost like the Two of Cups all over again. Yeah? The donna de servizio, reversed. And the conversazione, upright. So, there's been some kind of argument and some kind of separation or and there may have been a truce at some point in time, but then this message, this news comes in to kind of the white flag is down. Okay, but we're gonna have to at least have some kind of face-to-face meeting here. We're gonna have to try to come together and discuss this. And I think you are feeling, what's the word? You're lacking self-confidence. You've got doubt. There's fear. Some of you may even be denying that, you know, this situation is even happening. Giovani fanciulla. L'amante. Female. And the letterato. Well, isn't that damn interesting, because I have 3 people cards here. Okay. Wow. We will start with the, let me pause that for just 1 second. The reversed, I think he's a coins card. He is. The reversed messaggere. He's the knight. It indicates a delay in the arrival of communication, but it also indicates a tracked package or letter that takes longer to arrive or is stuck in customs. It speaks to the arrival of delays and setbacks and the inability to resolve a problem. It can also herald the arrival of bad news, a negative turn of events, general delays, setbacks, unfounded rumors, and disappointments. It says this is a card that appears if we are waiting for something or someone to solve a problem. And it speaks to their failure. But it can also define the type of person of being someone who is untrustworthy. It can represent short journeys full of setbacks or a disappointing journey. Or it can predict an unexpected journey taken with a degree of uncertainty. That's it. That's what it means, an untrustworthy intermediary. Remember that card about maybe someone taking advantage of you? The Doctore. The card is neutral, and basically, generally, it means specialist help to get out of a sticky situation. Now, it says the cards on either side will define what kind of help is needed. So, I don't know if this is mental help needed or what. I don't know. Maybe this is some untrustworthy news, because the messaggere reverse is not really telling me what kind of news is coming. It says it defines, oh crap, hold on. He is a King of Wands, by the way. It It said it defines a situation that cannot be resolved without often professional help. And it implies past mistakes will need to be rectified, but this is not always the case. Sometimes it can point to an underlying health problem that is affecting you, and it can foretell that health will be a central topic in the future. It indicates your mental and physical strength will play a very important role in the way events will unfold. It does not necessarily imply ill health, but more often it can indicate a period of stress or overwork and something that you will find mentally and physically taxing. The third meaning of this card, which is allegorical, represents something or a type of behavior, situation, bad habit, grudge, broken heart that needs healing or fixing because it is at the root of your problem and or crisis. It highlights the urgency to reconsider and change a flaw so that you can attract a better future. It will often mean help will be offered by someone who can make a difference, but not before you show a genuine willingness to help yourself. God helps those who help themselves. In love, it can indicate a woman who wants to fix her partner, thus highlighting her driving motivation in the relationship. Usually this card merely represents someone with a university degree, and in financial matters, it can indicate success, fulfillment, career advancement, and a period of intense work. It will usually represent an investor, a doctor, a scientist, a judge, or a lawyer. But this is, again, a general thing. If this is really about a health reading, it will usually refer to your general practitioner, doctor's appointments, and the need to see a doctor for medical analysis. Sometimes it can also point to someone so ill that they are in need of intensive care. He's not reversed, he's right side up. The Melancholia, and in effect, this is to me kind of like the reverse Nine of Swords. And in fact, it is a 5 of diamonds. And diamonds, again, represent the material plane in any deck of cards. This card indicates a passing disappointment or a black cloud of sadness that will eventually dissipate. It indicates momentary defeat and a lack of success. And the conditions are not going to affect you in a traumatic or long-lasting way. It can also describe a person who was once happy, and now that something has changed, they live in a state of guilt, sadness, and nostalgia, pining for what they once had. It describes someone who did not know how happy they were until they lost the source of their happiness. It will usually indicate an attachment to the past and or living in the past, and can indicate haunting memories, nostalgia, regret, and tears over something specific. But that this period of dejection will ultimately pass. It says that whatever this is on the left indicates that it still affects you, okay? Whatever this thing is. It speaks to the old days of yore. It can also indicate having lost someone or something dear to your heart, not because of death or loss, not necessarily, but because of distance or separation. In love, it heralds pains of conscience over mistakes made in a relationship. Sadness and lamenting over the good times now that the relationship is over. Generally, it indicates sadness, a lack of fulfillment, and a lack of direction. It heralds feelings of loneliness, a period of crisis, and of general lack of motivation. It indicates someone who is in dire need of guidance and of feeling loved and supported. Financially, it indicates an unfulfilling job, temporary unemployment, and worrying about money. Isn't this interesting, though? In a health reading, it can indicate a depleted immune system, seasonal affective disorder, intense stress, and sadness. And maybe that's why this sun card has come out. Tell you, get your butt outside. Okay? I don't know. Now, interestingly, here is the Lamante. And he shows up with the soldier card. So I do believe that this is talking to me about a person. Okay? The person can be from their late 20s up to their mid 40s. Someone who may be fair complected, but not necessarily. Now, on its own, the card is mildly positive as it foretells success in love and business. There is a sense of longing associated with this card and of having to wait. This is often seen in the practical manifestation, which indicates situations that are in a developmental phase, usually of a positive nature. But it says the card can also foretell a welcome surprise, positive news, a passionate love affair, and or the fulfillment of a dream. It places great emphasis on feelings and says that you are living through a particularly sensitive emotional time. Maybe this describes what the person does. Maybe it's somebody who wears a uniform. Yeah? Again, the age is somebody no older than 35. So between the ages of, mid-20s to 40s. That's not always, just that. But it can also represent any person wearing a uniform. In other words, a person can be a soldier, a prison warden, a policeman, a bodyguard. They can also be a nurse, but never a doctor, because that's the card for the doctor. It represents an energetic young man with clear goals. He is determined to get what he wants. He can be loyal on the one hand, but a fierce adversary on the other. The second person represented by this card is someone in a position of authority, whose disposition is despotic, authoritarian, and only interested in self-advancement. Generally, it represents authority, organization, and power. Emotionally, and at its best, it indicates that inner strength will help pull you through this situation. It can also represent a conquest and a win after much sweat and toil. The neutral meaning of this card represents hostile environments. So it could be the outdoors or any environment which it is difficult to survive. In other words, it could even be your work. In love, it represents someone who has trust issues, who is always afraid that their partner is cheating on them and consequently makes their partner's life difficult, spying on their every move. Often it means a partner who is unfaithful in a relationship, and it suggests selfishness and or abuse. It also indicates carnal attraction. In financial matters, it heralds struggle and legal troubles of some kind in which the state may become involved. Now, the negative meanings of this card are associated with strength. It indicates struggle, opposition, ruthlessness, war, and conflict. And we see that. It indicates that you will meet with a lot of struggle before your goal can be achieved. It also means that someone can give you a lot of grief and will oppose your efforts to succeed. Much inner strength and determination are needed to succeed and win the war with this opponent. It also acts as a warning of possible violence, usurpation, brutality, abuse of power, and again, of being taken advantage of by unscrupulous people. I think you're worried about something someone has done or said, and I think they've done it behind your back. The Domestico reversed. And we have a Knight of Swords, Knight of Coins, we have a Knight of Wands. Yeah. Here we have the reverse Domestico. It's definitely telling you that there's a person that you know or are involved in or who has entered into the picture. Maybe when you heard from them, you thought everything was going to be great, and now it done devolved in some kind of foolishness. It can indicate a young man of the same age group, which is no older than 30. Again, so it's narrowing it down. It went from mid-20s to 40s. Now it says 30, and now it's 30. So the person is around 30 years of age. This is someone who has given you a lot of grief, if this is not yourself doing it to other people, and can be a misbehaved son, an unfaithful boyfriend, and it may represent a young man with an addiction of some kind. More often than not, it represents a rascal, someone involved with perhaps juvenile crime, someone who will insinuate themselves into your life in order to stab you in the back at a later stage. What is more unsettling is that this young man may not even know that he's going to betray you at some stage. Okay? It can predict his future behavior. This card represents someone who cheats in love and at work, and someone whose loyalty can be easily bought. Self-interest, ruthlessness, wastefulness, and self-aggrandizement are all part of this young man's agenda, with an underlying streak of cowardice and malice. And maybe this 9 is saying that this person, whoever this is now having some kind of pain of consciousness about what they've said or done. Maybe that's what this is telling me. It says, more often than not, this man is not someone we may know directly, but can be introduced to us by someone else. But generally, the card just simply represents a lack of help. It is a very negative card in love, as it represents a man whose motives are not genuine and is only here to take advantage of you. In financial matters, it can represent very dangerous advice or a business proposal, but given maliciously to deceive and cause financial loss. The card can also be a harbinger of a reality check, predicting that the person represented by this card will experience a very humbling occurrence due to their incorrect behavior that will cause them embarrassment. It represents a lack of help and support and a lack of good advice. This meaning is derived by the footman and servitude or helping around the house. It can also just simply be the idea of somebody being a psychic vampire. We know those. Now, these cards, the reverse, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the Ace of Wands. It is. And it is one of the most dominant suits. Now, the reason why this card shows up in the clubs is because it represents a formal declaration of something. In other words, the idea, this formal interaction, and that you are really moving forward with it. You have the desire to. It can indicate someone who's divorced, separated, or has recently broken up in a serious relationship. It foretells of breakups, backing out of a contract, errors in judgment, or the expiration of a contract. It is easier to remember this card when reversed speaks to a union that will not happen. It is negative in financial matters as it represents loss of money or property, unemployment, bankruptcy, failure, financial collapse, problems with the law, or a contract business partnership to be wary of. In love, it indicates sex and carnal passion as opposed to commitment. It does not preclude it, but it does not indicate it either. In health, it represents a miscarriage, an abortion, and an illness of a sexual nature. It can also indicate infectious diseases that have been caught by someone close to you. I don't think that's what it's saying. There's two cards of help here, and they're both reversed. The cards of servitude. Here is the Donna de Servizio, but she is reversed. The 8 of Diamonds. Isn't that funny? Now, if this is about a person, it will represent a woman who is petty, slanderous, and who loves to gossip. Usually this person is a colleague, someone who's very opportunistic and only interested in receiving favors or promotion at any cost. However, it can represent a person of any sex who is a skilled liar, someone who has no concept of truth or loyalty, has no spiritual values whatsoever, and no moral code to live by. In this regard, it also represents immorality, crassness, gaudiness, a lack of true refinement, as well as any seedy and dissolute situation. It indicates a lack of worth and real substance. Therefore, it will diminish the inherent value of any other message card in the message. It doesn't appear next to the 3 of Diamonds. But near the conversation card, it indicates waffle and empty words. So whatever this is, it didn't go through, whatever this was. In love, it can indicate licentiousness, lies, betrayal, and vindictiveness. It is the mark of a very negative partner, a chronic liar, and a cheat. It is the card of disagreements, arguments, of falling outs amongst members of the same family. But usually, however, these arguments are not usually of a big grave import. Since the handkerchief represents a white flag upright, when it is reversed, the white flag is taken down. And the period of truce comes to an end, resulting in adversity and quarrels beginning anew, fueled by rancor, renewed rancor and vindictiveness. This card is especially dangerous in financial matters, as it foretells of investments that will yield no dividends, money that is not received, no matter how promising it may look. It also indicates something that is too good to be true and nasty colleagues, bullying at work, or a very tense work environment full of lies and backstabbing. But it can also indicate someone who is stuck in a low-paying job, or someone who is not able to move up the promotion ladder and will always earn a low wage. It precludes social mobility. Something has stopped you. Before, you weren't letting anything stop you. You were dealing with it and you were conquering it. The reason why I say that is because even though he's got all those 6 wands, the 6 wands imply that you already got over something. You were able to overcome it through sheer force, will, and determination. Maybe you had to bring a bunch of people along with you to get everybody to agree, because before the 6 was the 5, right? That's the card of fighting. But here you took control of the situation, and you're standing at the top of the hill, and all of these other wands are coming up from the bottom. But now the situation is like this. You are upside down. And I think someone is acting against you. This is really what I think. The conversazione, it's empty words. Whatever they're telling you, it's empty words. It represents conversations, interviews, oral examinations, invites to social events, especially those that imply being gathered around a table, such as a lunch or dinner. Invitations, meetings, and meetings with purposeful and productive aims. Generally, it can predict tranquility and happiness. Now, it says when it's near a significator card, but it's not. It's near this contractual issue that may have gotten out of hand because maybe it was a miscalculation in somewhere, somebody, but whatever you were told or whatever happened, it's all based on empty words. It says in a work and financial context, it heralds new connections, a good offer, a contract, new business deals, discussions about contracts. In love, it gives hope that if disagreements have taken place, the future provides good prospects. In friendship, it represents good times ahead, harmony, and meeting new friends. In a family context, it represents reunions and reconciliations and family events. The other main and neutral meaning refers to family, extended family, or a group of people who spend a lot of time together, like roommates, colleagues, and classmates. That's it. But something has changed. Now, here, I have 3 people here and 3 people here. So I have the Giovane Fanciulla, the Queen of Wands, the L'Amante, the Queen of Cups. I'm sorry, and here you are over here again, this Queen of Cups. And then the Letterato, on a card where obviously it's speaking to some kind of imbalance. Somebody's taking more than they're giving, and there's some definite finance. Somebody's taking something back. Finances, property, something. I don't know if this has to do with a, what do you call it? A repossession of some sort. Now, the Giovane Fanciulla is a funny card. It can speak to a female, and then it kind of throws the situation off. Because you're like, who the hell is that other female if it doesn't fit? Well, this could be a romance where there's a third party intervening. Yeah? No younger than 30, unmarried, can be your daughter, a relative, a sister, or a colleague. And if this is not what it's about or represents another person, then it will depict the character of a person. Somebody who is gentle, innocent, sincere, trustworthy, kind, caring, usually quiet and unassuming. Now, it can also describe personal characteristics as one of heightened sensitivity and may indicate a psychic ability, or someone who has an absorbent aura and whose propensity is to be extremely affected by the environment around them for better or for worse. Okay? If it's not that, then it's showing up like this. It is pointing to a problem, a danger, an underlying problem that is of a specific relevance to you. In which case, watch out for all the cards to the left-hand side. Whatever this contractual issue is, the gloves have come off, and whatever you're being told or you're fighting against is empty words. And that could be this card. This could be telling you that you're wasting your breath on fighting with people because nobody's going to win in this situation, but it could also be telling you that you may have to stand up for yourself in a dispute. Whatever is being pointed to the left, this is what holds the key to unraveling the problem. Because a card is saying, look at the cards behind me. This is where the danger is coming from. In financial matters, it points to inexperience and rash mistakes. It can also represent an internship or someone who has just started working, or the trial period in a job or contract. In love, it represents a crush. First love, someone who is besotted and completely irrational, with a completely irrational attachment. It can also point to anxiety in love and to a particular degree of uncertainty and instability. There are three, when it represents this type of thing, there are three attributes to be associated with this card. Fragility, which can refer to fragile objects in a metaphorical sense. Vulnerability and impressionability. There's that moon card. Queen of Cups. The Queen of Hearts. Late 20s to mid 40s. Now, same thing. This can be anybody. You, sister, a friend, someone dear to your heart. It indicates the presence of somebody we can count on. That's it. The last meaning is that you will be particularly sensitive and respond in emotional ways to outside circumstances. It can, in health, it can represent the scalp, skin, head, or body. Maybe you're breaking out in hives. I don't know. The letterato. The Seven of Cups. Now, 90% of the time, he represents a person. He can represent a learned man, someone who has to do with the law, a juror, a judge, and a lawyer. He will represent someone between the ages of 40 and 55. Now, this person can be an older sibling or relative, someone he could be single or divorced. But figuratively, it represents intelligence, intellect, and inner strength, together with a great mental capacity for learning and studying, culture, refinement, and a high IQ. The second meaning of this card is creativity and can indicate an artist of any kind, which is how we find one of the new names for this card is the artista, but I don't use that. It heralds recognition in one's field, unexpected surprises, good news, projects that yield good results, and a promising career with extra income, good relationships, and or a reconciliation with the help of a trusted man. That's what it says. To me, there are lots of cards here that are speaking to work, financial environments. Of course, if things are not good at home, then things are not good at work. And if things are not good at work, things can be not well at home. So the two things, that's that love and money that I always talk to you about, are two different sides of the same coin. They equate to value. You know, if you're not being valued at your work, you're not being paid what you're worth, you're doing all the drudge work, you got people backstabbing you, lying to you, reneging on their contracts and shit, that makes you feel bad. You know, and if you got a partner, you go home and you say these things to this partner, and the partner's all upset because someone's making their loved one feel upset. But vice versa, if you're really pulling more weight than you maybe should, and maybe this might be based upon the circumstances as they are now, but if you're living with someone or you're partnered up with someone, you're in a romantic relationship with someone who's not giving you your due, pulling their own weight, if they're undermining you, that's the same shit, because they're not valuing you. It's no different than people not being valued at work, right? And that's what you need to see. And as soon as you can see that and recognize that and accept it for what it is, call it what it is. Put a name on it. See that banner? Things are going to open up for you. All right. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get another good paying job, or you're going to find a Met Dreamy to come in and take your life. You may not. But there's a freedom in understanding who you are, what you will and you won't put up with. You know, you have to teach people how to treat you. And a lot of times we're too fearful to say, you know what, that crap sucks, and I'm not doing it. Because we're fearful of them either dismissing us or walking away from us or firing us. And look, I know, you know, and my mom says, she says, I don't know why you always talk about walking away for a job. It's not easy that's not easy. And I said, yeah, it is easy. I'm just the kind of person that's not afraid to do that. Some people are, and I get that. You're not me. You don't handle situations like I do. I'll walk in a minute, you know, but that's me. And so we each have to find our own way of courageously standing up for ourselves. You may not have to walk away, right? But you may have to take that risk to say, you know what? You can't treat me like that. You can't do this to me. I won't allow you to. And then you have to turn around and show the person that you're made of tough stuff, right? Keep working on it. You'll get it. Right now. And this to me may not necessarily be talking about being sad about it. To me, this is about releasing all of those negative emotions. Releasing that. See how the cup's upside down? It's still got the cap on it, so all you gotta do is pull the cap off of it and pour that crap out. All right. One card for the Golden Nostradamus. Well, what do you know? It is the Book. What do you know? As long as the fool in silence remains, people may think he has half a brain. Ask advice of someone who knows more than you. Experts or people you know who love you. It is a roadmap and personal advice provided from someone we should seek out. I don't know what this means. I don't know. I do get the sense that somebody's taking advantage of you. And I always say this. Talk to other people who may have been through the more similar situation. Find out their experience and how they handled it. Now, you don't have to handle it the same way that they do, but it might point you in the direction in which it can give you the answer that you need. I just get the sense that somebody is waffling on their words. They are not telling you the truth, or they're going to renege on some contractual issue that they promised you. Okay? And it may be that deep down you know that as well. So, you know, if it's a part 2 to whatever the project is, and you think they ain't gonna pay you, you hold that shit up till you get the first half of your payment. That's how you do that. You know, and you have to base it on, you know, really trust what your intuition is telling you. Do not be fearful of it. You have it for a reason, okay? You don't have to be a card reader or a psychic to trust that whatever your intuition is telling you is absolutely correct and perfect. All right? So until next time, namaste. I hope that helped. Bye.